Here are some info and tasting notes for the Glenmorangie 18-year-old. So the Glenmorangie distillery is a Highland distillery. The 18-year-old is a whiskey that they produce that is aged for a minimum of 18 years. The way that they do it though is quite unique, because what actually happens is they spend 15 years, the entire batch spends 15 years inside of ex-American oak or bourbon casks. Before they take a third of that, they leave the remaining 2/3 inside that same cask to finish aging, and the other third will go and spend some time in ex-Oloroso sherry casks before being brought back together and blended back together to produce that batch. So quite an unusual take on it, which is quite cool, because you're going to get, instead of finishing the whole whiskey for 3 years or so inside of a sherry cask, you still get that benefit of the extra 3 years inside American oak, as well as that added interest that comes from the sherry cask. So quite unusual, something a little bit different, but I think it makes for a fantastic whiskey. So on the color of this, you get quite a nice rich warm amber color, so very nice and sparkly. If you have a go on the nose of this, it's really interesting because you get quite a nice rich kind of rounded sweetness to it, but you're going to get honey, you're going to get maltiness, you almost get like a buttered pastry, which is just beautifully indulgent. You get dates, maybe some figs coming through too, and a touch of spice. So just a wonderful nose on that whiskey altogether. When you have a go on the flavor of that, you're going to start picking up, once again, maybe a little bit of that honey and maltiness. You might start to pick up hints of like a creme brulee, which is really, really cool. Once again, those rich fruits come through. This is incredibly indulgent in terms of the nose, as well as the flavor compounds and the flavor that comes through in the palate, but also quite light and fresh still at the same time, because I think there's hints of lemon and citrus inside of there that still make it quite interesting. So it's not something that's too sweet or too desserty, but it definitely does have that indulgent side to it. So I hope you enjoy the Glenmorangie 18-year-old.